Hi, everyone. This is Christine Thompson, lead agent on the CT team, back at you for the beginning of the month of May 2023 to give you updates on the market. I always use Naperville as the guinea pig to talk about market updates. If you need updates for a different town, I'm happy to pull together information that'll be basically the same format as what you're going to be watching on this show. But let's just jump right into it. Oh, one thing before I get started, you'll see I have two codes here, buyer, seller. It's not all one text code. It's either buyer, seller. And you can text that code to 630-931-0045. Text the code buyer or seller to that number. We'll put it in our copy description. We're going to be putting this video also into YouTube, my channel in YouTube. It's called Living in Naperville, Christine Thompson. So just subscribe to my YouTube channel, Naperville Living in Naperville, Christine Thompson. You'll see this video in there within 24 hours, and we'll provide in the description copy the phone number that you can text the code to. So if you want information about your market, just text one of those codes so I know if you're a buyer or a seller, but you'll be able to access the market for the town that you are inquiring about. Whether you're buying in that town or selling in that town, you can gather that information. I hope you find that useful. But let's get started for talking about Naperville at least. I'm going to screen share with you what's going on. All right. So the first graph I like to share with you is this is what I showed back in March. So previously in April, I showed the March numbers for basically big picture numbers with the MLS that is reporting back for Naperville detached homes. There were 149 new listings, only 8 had price changes, and there were 74 private. That's almost like half of what was new on the market. Amazing. And I'm going to say it again, when I spoke to a tech rep at the MLS where they see everything that's happening, they can see what's taking showings. And he said 95% of private listing owners were allowing showings, which was just astounding to me. I thought he'd say like 40%, but he said like 95. I'm like, holy smokes, that's a lot. So more inventory out there than what's officially shown out there. This is why I like to share this graph so you can see, the private listings that are out there. So, for you buyers out there, if you feel like, gosh, there's just not enough listings out there. Yeah, there are. You just got to be working with a broker that can get you the private listings. If you don't have an agent you're working for, I'd be happy to help you. There are 108 under contract, so that's catching up with how many are on the market. We're seeing that. That was March. So in April, a lot more going on the market, 170, 91 are private, 12 went under contract. That's probably pushing it back to the March month. And then 109 closed. So that seems to be about the same ratio. Price change only 9. They're selling off. Okay, the sellers don't have to be changing their price. Back in March, we saw that the average sale price went up 9.6% year over year. March 2022 to March 2023, price went up. And we can see that the price in March, the price was at $645 in March for an average sale price in Naperville. And this month just creeped up a few $100. And I'm just going to go back again. So March, it was 9.6% up. April, 8.7% up. I'm a little bit surprised to see this because me personally, when I'm out there working with buyers, I'm seeing multiple offers. But we do have outliers out there where owners are thinking, well, market's up, I'm going to put a really high price out there. And shame, shame, shame on you. That's not how it works. If you want to know how it really works, give me a call. Okay, so then when we look at the next, we're going to look at average market time year over year, down 18.9%, meaning it takes less time to sell a house than it did in March of 2022. That's seller's market to me. It was 30 days in March. And then April, 32 days, creeped up just a little bit, just kind of like how, the sale price creeped down a little bit. This creeped up a little bit. That makes sense. So to me, it's sounding like it's pretty static between March and April. The average showings for a home to go under contract in March it says 26 showings for a home. That was down 7.1% from March of 2022. And now it's 25 showings. So that's, that's pretty flat line there. And down 13.8% from last year, less showings than it took last year. Now that could also mean that there's less buyers going in than last year. And what's the time frame of getting those buyers into the home? So if last year's market time was a little bit shorter, which it was not, it's shorter this year, but we're having less people getting in also. So that all kind of goes into play. If you have a house that's only on the market for 2 days and had 60 showings, that's a seller's market. If the house was on for a year and had 60 showings, that's not a seller's market. Okay, at least for that house and how they want to put themselves into the market. Okay, so this is based on information from Showing Time, where they handle and manage basically 90%, 99% of all the showings of all the brokerages out there. So they have a pretty accurate number of the activity of average number of showings per listing per weekend, because that's when we see most of the showings happening. And we can see that it has ticked up that last weekend, April going into May. Almost, these are incredible numbers. First of all, when we had just like a regular market, it would be maybe a half a showing average, maybe one an average. I remember when the pandemic hit and it was starting to pick up, we're like, oh my gosh, we're over one as an average. And we thought, wow, but now look at this, almost averaging 5 showings per listing on one weekend. That's amazing. That is definitely a seller's market. Market action index is another way of looking at taking all these different factors into place and really summarizing it down and showing what's the heat of the market. And right now it's showing the needle in April. When we pulled it in April 3rd, it showed 47 was the number for all of Naperville. And this month we're seeing 51 ticked up. So even though we're seeing some of these numbers showing the average sale price, market time, whatever, seem just a hair softer, this is looking at other factors as well. And it's saying it's becoming a stronger seller market. And again, I will say that personally, from me being on both sides, working with buyers and working with sellers, I'm seeing the offers that are coming in. I see, that, my buyers are competing against other buyers. It seems more prevalent now than it was in January or February. So to me, that means the market's picking up. It's picking up a stronger seller market. And mortgage rates, man, they're all over the place. I mean, it's kind of even hard to talk about this. So April 3rd, when we closed it out, we saw a 30-year fix was 6.8 and 5-year ARM, because a lot of people are doing date the rates, buy the house, and if the rates go down, refinance. So we saw 6.8 and 5.7. It's really pretty much the same that we saw last year. So for all of you buyers out there, and you can watch my monthly updates. I do this every month, and you can see where the rates are, and go back to my October, November show, and you're going to see, really hasn't changed. Not much. Okay. So if you're thinking, I'm going to wait until the rates are going to go back down to 4%, then just plan on staying in your house. Don't move. Okay. I hope you really like your house and that there's nothing you need to change in your house, that you're going to be okay being in there for the next several decades, because it's highly unlikely that we're ever going to have 4% again. I listen to a lot of different economists, and there's no signs or indicators that the Feds are going to have it go back down to that. I think they had their party and the party's over. So if you have greater needs than just the interest rate that you need to move, like we want a newer house, we need more space, we want better schools, we are tired of renting and buying a house for somebody else, or I want a lawn, or I got to relocate for work, I would not let the rate stop you. Talk to your lender and ask them, can I afford a house at the current rates? And can I make the move? And if they say, well, of course you can, well, then prioritize what's more important. Talk with your spouse or loved one, or whoever you talk to that you trust their advice, and say, should I wait for the rate or should I move on with my life and improve it? You guys decide. 3 factors affecting home affordability today obviously are rates. Okay. Now, when we're talking about rates still, I do want to tell you that there are ways to find sellers and work with sellers that maybe you can get a closing credit and you can apply that to buying down your rate. Okay. And then, as I said earlier, date the rate, buy the home. And if the rates do go down a half a point or a point after you purchase, then when you've built up some equity in your home, because we see home prices continuing to go up, it means you're going to be having equity building in your house, then refinance down the road, and you'll get your mortgage down while you're seeing home prices much higher than when you bought them. Good plan, I think. So mortgage rates are affecting home affordability today. Home prices, there's declines in the West due to tech industry slowdown and severe lack of affordability after decades of undersupply. And there are consistent gains in the Southeast and South that reflect strong job markets there, in migration patterns and relative affordability due to new home construction. There is more construction going on in the Southeast states because the builders are recognizing people are migrating there. I have spent some time, I'll say, in South Carolina. It's growing. So if you want to talk to me about the Southeast states, feel free to give me a call too. I'm keeping my eye on all of those states as well. Very, very interesting. And then wages, average hourly earnings of all employees, dollars per hour seasonably adjusted. Wages are a factor in home affordability. You know, it's really about where your wage is. Wages have gone up. So buyers are still out there shopping and able to get the loans. So that's good. But a lot of factors, but there are no factors that we're seeing that's going to indicate that inventory is going to suddenly increase in the market and bring home prices down. We got too many millennials coming out there. Thank you, millennials, that you are keeping the home prices up for everyone because you are creating demand, and there are just not enough rooftops in America to keep up with the exponential growth demand for rooftops, which means there's going to organically for maybe the next 7 years or so, this is going to continue to happen as the millennials get older and moving out year after year, and they have the incomes where they can be buying homes. I've got first-time home buyers purchasing $1 million homes, which is unheard of, but it's happening. So we don't see this slowing down. There's no reason to drop the rates to encourage buyers to be purchasing homes. They are definitely on board that they want to be buying homes because they need them. All right, so what are experts saying about the spring housing market? Salma Hepp, our chief economist at CoreLogic, which they really watch everything that's going on with the housing industry. She said, we see more competition among buyers. Yeah. Housing supply also tends to grow during the spring months, and this is also the time of year when relatively more migration happens as people graduate and move elsewhere looking for jobs. And I would say there is also migration of owners where they say, I'm tired of the state I live in and I'm going to a different state. There's different types of migration going on. And then we got Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate, saying, I don't expect big moves in prices in the span of a month, but like the flower buds of spring, the housing market is showing signs of improvement. A pickup in activity and inventory still low does bode well for home prices. So if you're thinking about selling your house this spring, it's a great time to do so while inventory is still low. And as I said earlier, speaking like on the scale and ratio, as we get deeper into the spring market, more buyers are coming out. And my opinion, I think it's going to be equivalent in ratio to how many sellers are going to come out on the market too. That I don't think that demand is going to shift. I think that demand is going to remain the same. We'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong, right? Okay. So when you text my code, you're going to get this screen. You'll see the screen, just put in your email, phone number, and the phone number is so that way you can get text from this system that we're going to send you. It's a very nice system and it's very phone friendly. So I highly advise put the cell phone number in there so that way you can see what's happening in your market. It's a really nice tool. You'll have it in perpetuity once you sign in. Don't worry, we don't send you to third-party advertisers or anything like that. And then it's going to bring you to this page. And all you got to do is just type in the zip code or name of the town that you want the report from, and it'll run it and you'll get to see what's going on in that neighborhood. Okay. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave this screen here for a moment so you can see that phone number again. There's one too many digits in the 0. Amazing. So call 630-931-0045. Again, you can text this code buyer or seller. So text buyer or text seller to 630-931-0045. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you text the code so you can get a market update for the area that you're looking at, in case assuming you're like, I don't want to talk to Christine, I just want to get the report. That's totally cool. Don't worry about it. I'm not offended. Just text the code, get the market report that you want. And I hope you enjoy that information. And of course, please do know you can also call or text me directly at that same number, 630-931-0045. If you have questions or you want me to do a more specific report, maybe even for your own house, I'm happy to do that. But you do need to get in touch with me if you want to have an accurate report for your house. Okay. Everyone, you have a fantastic day. Have a great month of May, and I'll see you again in July for another monthly update. Take care.